I'm not on my. Hold on. I gotta. How is that connection for you? Is that good? Because
Yeah,
I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm realizing. So let's
you
see if
sound.
this holds up.
Yeah, you sound good to me. I am live.
All right. So am I. Here we
Sweet.
are. Welcome to Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, joined as always by Stateless Patriot Stat Pat from the Central Valley, who is going to open up tonight's show telling us about his experience with the Eclipse, which will be
Oh
a nice
boy.
little segue into the latest conspiracy theory.
Oh man, I saw quite a lot of that. It really does go to show just how far gone people are. Like how, like I don't even think it's just like a lack of education, but just how willingly people are to just like just create these fantasies out of nowhere so they can feel special. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, the
Um,
narcissism of the conspiracy theory that's being
yeah.
talked about.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I'm so special. I have the insider information. It's not so different from the evangelical stuff that I talk about, where it's like I'm so special because God's my buddy and I'm
Right.
tight with God and I was friends with him first.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Childish.
Yeah, no kidding. It was really incredible. It was an amazing experience. The entire vacation was like
Hmm.
there were so many highlights. I could sit here and list off like a whole bunch from Jerome, Arizona, Grand Canyon, stopping in Albuquerque,
Yep.
seeing friends, hiking in Prescott, Arizona. But Dallas itself was like actually a really cool town. Like especially like the surrounding like Dallas Fort Worth area is huge, and there's so much to do.
Hmm.
It was crazy, and everybody there was like so nice. Everything was just like so well maintained, and everything seemed to like run like clockwork. Like way better shape than where I am here in California, that's for sure. Or even some of the bigger cities I'm familiar with as well. So the eclipse, I even though Dallas was like in the shadow path, like the path of totality, I drove maybe about like 45 minutes to get like towards like the dead center of the path because
Hmm.
that's when the eclipse actually lasts the
The
longest.
longest, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I it was this like little auto speedway, this little private like speedway place. It was empty. It was like a gravel parking lot. I go in there in the park. Some dude on a tractor comes up, and I'm just like, "Hey, what's up? Is this a private, place I could take off if need be?" He's like, "Oh no, it's cool. You're here for the eclipse, right?" And like, cause everybody's prepared for it. Like, there are warning signs on the highways saying, "Keep moving. Do not pull over to the side of the highway. Do not stop to see the eclipse. Do not block the highway. This and that." I'm like, yeah, I can leave if you want. He's like, no, it's cool. And we talk a little bit about the eclipse and like the fact that like the sky was going to turn just completely dark. It like I sat there for an hour just like watching as like it just grew like the surrounding area just grew dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And then just up until the 4 minutes of like peak totality, it just completely blacked out the sun. It just turned the entire place night. It was an amazing thing to see. I got it. I even got it on camera. Now,
Cool.
yeah, it was really amazing to watch. Um, it wasn't even the first eclipse I've seen either. I actually drove up to Oregon for the one in 2017.
All the way
Um,
up to Oregon. Wow.
yeah, yeah, the Great American Eclipse, August 21st, 2017. Yeah, and it was incredible. For that one, it was completely clear skies. But when I was in, because I went down to this place called Crandall. It's like this little small town where this little speedway was. And it was mostly cloudy and like overcast for the day. And so when the eclipse started, like I was getting, excuse me, I was getting kind of worried because it was like so cloudy out. I figured like, oh man, it's like the eclipse gonna start and like there's gonna be some clouds in the way. But right before the eclipse, the totality began, there was a break in the clouds and the sky cleared up like just in time basically for it to
To shoot.
start. And yeah, it was incredible. Like I got to watch it for like maybe like half of the totality, and like halfway in some clouds did cover it up, so that was kind of lame. But yeah, it was a remarkable experience. Really, really, really short lived, but just to witness it like actually happen, it makes me it's like really bittersweet in a way, because the next one that's gonna like even happen that's gonna be as significant is in 2045, and I'll be 50 when the next big total solar eclipse happens. Um, so it's a long way off, but like when that time comes, like I want to hype it up as much as I can. I want everybody to be able to experience it, and it's actually passing through Northern California. The next one in 2045. But it was an amazing experience for sure.
Oh, great. I will be, let's see, 61.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, I'm wondering if my Wi-Fi isn't gonna. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is gonna create this delay.
oh yeah, am I coming in just a
Um,
little bit late?
yeah, I'm wondering if I shouldn't plug in.
Like
Yeah, it's
Ethernet?
let me see if I can keep talking, entertain our
Yeah,
our viewers. I'll be right
sure.
back.
Yeah. Um. I really have no words to express how beautiful it was. I ended up getting clips of it, and yeah, I had Pink Floyd going like the last couple songs on the Dark Side of the Moon album, Brain Damage into Eclipse. And funny enough, I actually threw on Eclipse by Pink Floyd when I went to go see the last Eclipse I saw in 2017. Um, it's funny because like right when Brain Damage segued into Eclipse, then in 2017, like somehow it just queued up perfectly. And right as Eclipse began, like the moon blocked out the sun and just turned it night. We got to see the diamond ring, it's called, like the last beams of sunlight like just slowly like shrink out, and just looks like a ring with like a diamond at the end. It's really, really, really cool. um yeah, it was such a unique experience. I'm glad I got to see it again. I've been planning this vacation for like 2 years, and the fact that I was able to do it again was really fun. And it wasn't just about the eclipse either. I got to see multiple friends along the way, one of which I had not even met yet. So that was really cool. Not to mention just seeing Jerome, Arizona, and the Grand Canyon were just a couple of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, that I've ever seen. Um, I had such an amazing time. Like so many unique experiences. Like half of which like throughout the vacation I didn't even anticipate or even like plan for to happen. So it like one unexpected experience after another. It was humbling, and like it just sucks that I had to work today. It felt so lame just having to get back to the regular life after such an amazing vacation. We good to go?
All right, I think I'm. How's that? Testing one, two.
You sound good.
Okay, I think there's still a little bit of a delay, but we'll see if it picks up on my Ethernet.
Right. I think it
Um,
should automatically,
hopefully it picks.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think once you plug in your Ethernet, your computer goes, "Oh, that's nicer." So,
Right. Yeah.
so
So
I'm
have
gonna use that. What were you talking about? Thank you for keeping our friends busy. Oh, you
yeah,
were.
yeah, just the fact that I listened to Pink, like the very tail end of the Pink Floyd album Dark Side of the Moon, as the eclipse began. It just the segue is like perfect and fitting.
Oh yeah.
And just the vacation in general, like was saying before, I couldn't have asked for a better experience, honestly, because I got to see a couple of like the most beautiful places that I've ever been to: Jerome, Arizona, and the Grand Canyon. and like it was great. Like I posted all over Instagram. Like there's like, and really like even like pictures. Oh, are we good? We good?
Yeah, no, I think we're okay. I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi off and see what
Okay.
happens.
See if it detects an Ethernet cord. But yeah, it was incredible. Got all sorts of souvenirs along the way. Stopped in Albuquerque at the Breaking Bad store because I'm a huge Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul fan, and got some stuff there. Like really great show.
I know a couple people who work on Better. I know a couple people who work on Better Call Saul actually.
Really, that's hella cool.
It's a great show.
Really
Yeah,
is. Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
like,
I went to film school with.
that's hella cool. Yeah, my roommates are actually in the middle of season 5 of Better Call Saul right now.
Yeah.
One of them hasn't seen it, but yeah, it was really cool. I got all sorts of different merch and whatnot, and it was like a mini museum too. So there were like actual like set pieces and items that are like were directly from the show, and like they were just kept behind glass and stuff like that. Like just almost like little obscure items from the show, but like notably like the masks that Walt and Jesse used, tape recorder that Chuck used, uh, a few other things. I could be mistaken. I think Hector's chair was there. It might have just been some random wheelchair. I'm not exactly certain about that, but it was just a really cool experience. And it's so weird adjusting to life at home because it's like it just feels so inadequate because it was such a grand journey. Like I'm back here. And it's just like, damn, I got chores to do. I got pick up all my shit. I got, I'm back to the monotony.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, back to the monotony
Yeah.
of work and whatnot. But I'm so grateful for it. Like I really am. Like I couldn't have asked for a better vacation, even though like I had some hiccups along the way. Like when I got to Amarillo, I stopped for gas when I went to start the car again because I didn't leave it on or anything like that. The battery was dead. It wouldn't turn over. I was like, well, shit, what the fuck? So I had to have someone jump my car, so I took them to the nearest AutoZone. Battery wasn't charged enough, so they had me run around the block, charge it some more to see if the alternator would charge it. Fortunately, it did, so it wasn't an alternator issue. Ended up buying a battery, but there was no place open that could install it at the time, so I had to drive to this budget inn and just chill out for the night. Excuse me, at a hotel, so I could wait until the morning until Jiffy Lube can install it, and yeah, it put me in the hole for like $300, but it was more of an inconvenience than like a total derailment, and that's what that like little like cushion of like emergency money was for to begin with. But yeah, that was like the only really like actual major hiccup that I experienced on the trip. Everything else was incredible. I mean, lots of driving for sure. I drove like 4,000 miles in total.
Yeah,
Um,
you were bold to do this. Yeah, you were bold to do this by yourself, going on a road trip
yeah,
solo. It sounds like I'm sure you caught up on a lot of podcasts and stuff.
sorta. I mean, wherever I could catch service, because there's a lot of open road along like the 40, and like going to Texas and whatnot. Um, Mostly it was just listening to music, various albums and whatnot. I would listen to a little bit like Onion Nuggets and Deep Fat Fried, but like I tried to like queue up a whole bunch of stuff, like catch up on a whole bunch of like different political stuff, but I don't know what it was. Like YouTube Premium wasn't working. Like I would like to go to queue up a playlist, and I would just get nothing but errors, or the videos wouldn't load. So I found that frustrating. So I just like decided to keep like myself like more lightly entertained with like funny stuff or like music and shit. Uh, but yeah, altogether, like just to get from where I am to Dallas is like if I went nonstop, which is obviously impossible, it would be like a 25-hour drive just by itself. So yeah, so made multiple stops along the way. Slept at truck stops because I didn't want to like pay for a hotel like every step of the way, which was fine. Like I sleeping in my car wasn't too bad. Like make a little makeshift bed and whatever. But um, yeah, a really fun, unique experience. Got to meet a lot of people along the way. People I planned to meet, people I didn't plan to meet, and people I know that moved away that used to be here in California. It was super cool. It's an experience I'll never forget, and I can talk about it for hours on end, honestly.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, that's great. Well, not enough Americans are getting vacations these days. I think it's something like half of America can't afford a $500 emergency, which is very scary.
Yeah,
And my heart goes out to those folks because I'm pretty comfortable. If something bad happens, it would hurt, but it wouldn't ruin my life.
yeah, no
Um,
kidding. A lot
it's
of
like in that
people.
video you're talking about with superlative wealth. It's like
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
God,
No, it's yeah. I think there's a little bit of a delay still,
it's
but
amazing.
yeah, a lot of people can't even like really afford like a small emergency. Like we're long past like guaranteeing the workers of this country like guaranteed paid vacation. I'm lucky because I was actually able to use like all the PTO I had just for this trip, and it does replenish itself like in increments each month for my primary job, but not everybody has that luxury. Like I rarely use
Right.
my PTO like pretty much ever. Like fortunately, so the fact that I was able to put all this time aside and still get paid for it is helps me tremendously. And not to mention like my other job, like the Domino's, uh, like being so flexible with me as well, was just so nice to have.
So should we get into the news?
Sure. let's
While we
let's
were gone, we had
so we
quite a few things. I mean, some things happened. I mean, the Israel-Gaza conflict continues, although
of
now we have the
course.
added wrinkle of Iran with a counterattack
Hmm.
on Israel. Israel seems to be getting very ambitious in the Middle East. I
Yeah.
don't know what Netanyahu's thinking,
Mm-mm.
but here we are. Go ahead.
Yeah. Um from what I understand, what I picked up on, Israel attacked a um I think it was an embassy, an Iranian embassy in Syria, and that's
Yes.
considered Iranian territory. So this was like widely condemned by the international community. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And it didn't take long for Iran not to attack with like their proxies, which they were doing, but to attack Israel directly from within their own territory, Iranian territory. That was that's new. That's never happened before, at least to my knowledge.
Right.
Especially in the way it was. Apparently, like hundreds upon hundreds of drones and UAVs were sent directly towards Israel, but all but three were intercepted by Israeli, American, and British, UK fighter jets, and they were able to actually take down all the incoming drones except for three, to defend Israeli airspace. Of course, they like these drones. Like in order to get like to them, they had to go through I think Iraqi and Syrian airspace, because they're coming from like within the country of Iran. So uh, because I mean this happened, it's like it sends a bunch of messages. The fact that like Iran is like really done with this like broadening of the regional conflict by Israel. The incessant bombing of Lebanon and the attacks on Syria, let alone the consistent um, uh, uh, campaigns in Gaza against civilians. Um, it's just like it's absolute chaos. Like they're just absolutely flailing
Yeah.
and just like trying to fight multiple wars on multiple different fronts. It seems like for no rhyme or reason, you know. And so like um, by Iran doing this, it's just to signal like, hey, we're done with this. We don't want we don't want this to broaden. Like this is serious. You need to stop. So and a lot of people are acting like this was like unprovoked. No, Iran is responding to Israel attacking their territory. It's so like
Right.
there's a chance that Israel
Right.
could respond to this, and it's tit for tat, and all of a sudden there's a domino effect. But fortunately, um, cooler heads, I guess you could say, are they're at the top of the list of considerations. You know, I guess you could say because Biden's like we're not going to use our weapons to attack Iran. Everything's going to be defensive. We're not going to fight alongside Israel in any offensive campaigns towards Iran. That's ridiculous, and it makes sense. Like it shouldn't be like that at all. The fact alone that we're still like sending them weapons is just abominable. But like the U.S. understands like a wider conflict with Iran is it's not good. It would be bad for the entire region, and even Iran knows that too. I don't think they intend to. Um,
I don't
uh,
think Iran wants
no,
a war with the United
no,
States. I
yeah,
don't think they
yeah. They've been like all actors
want
in the
to get
region, including
into
us, like have
with
been
that.
using their
The two
proxies.
public leaders with Putin and Netanyahu seem to like see an opportunity with Biden being president to just push the envelope
Yeah,
as far as possible. Israel keep this conflict up for to stay in office, and he has to avoid corruption charges by staying in office. So
exactly.
it's just one big mess, and I think that there's something to be said for Biden's, softness is being taken advantage of a little bit. And it's too bad because he's got a lot of other domestic accomplishments that would make a win in November comfortable. But Genocide Joe is really resonating, man. It's really getting traction in a lot of parts of the country.
Yeah, I don't even think we covered it because of my vacation, but I think while I was gone, Israel bombed what was it like the International Kitchen or something like that, like we like the International Workers Kitchen or something like that, and
Oh yeah, right.
that was
Yep.
like a major screw up, but it was intentional. Like Israel doesn't give a shit. These people like from all over the world, and this will really fucking disgust me honestly. These international workers come in and they set up shop and they deliver like tons and tons and tons, like maybe 100 tons of food. I think that's the number that I heard to the Palestinians, and all like when and then upon leaving or like en route to somewhere else, their convoy or they get bombed and seven of their workers I think get killed, and like that's the fucking red line. Not the
Right.
14,000, 15,000 Palestinian children that have been bombed to death or have starved so far. The fact that like some random
Hey,
uh,
Hamas was there, man. Hamas was there.
God, the fact that like some non-brown Western international workers were killed, like that's a step too far. Not the 40,000 people like killed. Like that's what provokes the fucking condemnation of Israel. That's what provokes the condemnation of their actions. It's disgusting. Like what the hell took you so long? Like whole. It's like it's so fucking frustrating. But I mean anything to like better late than never. But still, like What the fuck? What we got
Sure,
here?
let's hear the news from Netanyahu.
Iran's
Let's hear it from
unprecedented
Netanyahu.
attack on
Okay.
Israel for the second day in a row. Israel's prime minister met to discuss its response to Saturday's attack, making no announcement yet, but the will indeed respond. World leaders are urging Israel not to retaliate, including the U.S., making it clear that if it attacks Iran, it will do so alone. President Biden still reaffirming his overall support for Israel, though, adding, together with our partners, we defeated that attack. At least half of those strikes failing before even reaching their targets, while almost all of them were intercepted and shot down. We continue to have live team coverage with our Josh Ensinger, who's there in Jerusalem. Also, our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, joining us outside the White House. So, Josh, to you now, are we learning anything more about Israel's potential response? And if everyone is still active in that war cabinet meeting?
Yeah, so they've been meeting all day, all afternoon into the night, Kira, and I will tell you to the point that you just made about the Army chief who made that statement, the actual statement that he made, he said, as we weigh our steps with the launch of so many missiles, cruise missiles, UAVs to the territory of the state of Israel, will be met with a response. But it's intentionally vague, and the response really could be anything. You have right-wing members of the Netanyahu coalition saying that he needs to be able to maintain deterrence against Iran. It needs to be a forceful response with kinetic weapons. You have others who say that perhaps he should revert to the shadow war that Israel and Iran have been waging for years, a war of assassinations, covert assassinations.
Gross. Can you pause it real quick?
And clear what they intend to do. Life in Israel today was back to normal. They allowed.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
this is so frustrating to me because it's like Iran was responding to Israel striking an Iranian embassy in Syria, which did actually kill a top Iranian general, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was actually someone who took the place of Soleimani. I believe that's who it was. Um, who was assassinated in Iraq by us. Thanks,
Oh, you're talking
Trump.
about back in the.
Yeah, right when 2020 started, when Trump, assassinated Qasem Soleimani, something like that, the top Iranian general at the time, and Israel does it again because just like last time, Iran responded by I think bombing like an airfield or something like that. Where I think American troops were stationed. It might have been in Syria, so it might have been a base in Syria or Iraq. I forget. But um, at the time, everybody was super on edge because we were like about to engage in like a direct engagement with Iran, and so Israel does it again, and like they're absolutely shocked when Iran does basically the exact same thing. Like they send a bunch of drones from their territory. They strike Israeli targets, or at least attempt to, from their territory, similar to how Iran did back in 2020 when we uh, killed their general at the time. Like it's so frustrating. It doesn't even make any sense. It's like, what is there to respond to? Like, are we just gonna go tit for tat and then just like devolve into a full scale war? No, they were warranted in responding to what you did in assassinating their general. So like, what is there to respond to? Like, are you saying that this is war now? Like, it's beyond insane. So yeah, it's frustrating. Like the framing of this is a little off, and that's what frustrates me. But we can go ahead and continue that clip.
Oh no, it's fine. That's just basic stuff. I mean, the war room stuff. It's all bullshit. I wonder how
Sure.
much work is actually getting done in those rooms with Blinken. I mean, do you
Oh
think
yeah.
Blinken knows how to work a room, dude? Do you really think that guy can walk into a room with a bunch of Middle Eastern leaders and Netanyahu and really move the
No.
needle? I don't think so.
No. The guy doesn't really. he doesn't really necessarily ooze charisma. Which I mean, sure you don't really need that in a position like that, but it. I don't know. I do think that there are some good names among the military brass that are in those meetings, that are in those talks, that actually do have um, the experience and the know-how. Um, so like there is that, like there's no slackers when it comes to strategizing, I suppose, because this would be so, like, all of this. I can't imagine just how much, just dismally, like, abhorrently worse all of this would be if Trump's White House was in control right now. If it was a Trump White House and like a Trump room, like it sucks to say, because like there's so many shortcomings, there's so many like uh, uh, failures on the part of the Biden White House, and but like given how much of a shit show the Biden White House was, no, not the Biden, the Trump White House was. I mean, Biden's White House is a shit show. Don't get me wrong, but um, just how much worse would it be with such clowns in charge? Um, yeah, it's so fucking fucked, dude.
One thing that I would like to try to emphasize with people when we talk about the Middle East is just how consistent the conflict has been in that region of the world, more so than any other region that I can think of in my lifetime, and really looking back in history since Vietnam. I mean, yeah, the Cold War had some stuff going on, but and Afghanistan and isn't really their fault with the Soviets. So we cut that out of the or Iraq,
Right.
but it seems to a lot of the time center around Israel. Israel seems to be like more so than in the past. They have mastered the art of victimhood, but I think their
Yeah.
time's up for them. I think the rest of the international community has had it
Right.
and said this is the ultimate historical hypocrisy because your people were victims of the Holocaust, and now you think you can run a Holocaust on Palestine.
Yeah. Like
And,
like
the only defense that I've heard so far from someone who knows quite a bit about Israel is that that's the way Israel would that's the way anyone would have responded to that terrorist attack on October 7th. And I'm like, really? This is their response? It seems a little heavy-handed to me. In fact, it seems very heavy-handed to me.
yeah, like that's pretty fucking ridiculous because it's like uh you can look back on like the Manchester bombing, or even the recent massacre in Moscow. It's uh like UK didn't all of a sudden, because I think ISIS claimed responsibility for that Manchester bombing, if I'm not mistaken. The UK didn't like drop like tens of thousands of tons of bombs on Syria, or like various territories that ISIS held, and it didn't like occupy the entire fucking region for 6 months and just start slaughtering civilians. And neither did Russia when this most recent terrorist attack happened there. I think it was at this concert or something like that. This festival, like Russia, like it's so dishonest. It's disingenuous. It's completely out of line with like the reality. You look at any like recent history response to attacks, not similar to, but at like almost of the same caliber, and yeah, and you make a really good point too, because like Israel is literally flailing. Like their response, like ever since this attack, They have not only been basically just erasing Gaza off the map, but they're doing bombing campaigns in Lebanon. They're seizing territory in the West Bank, where Hamas has like no presence whatsoever. So like, what's that about? Like they're intensifying raids there. They're doing campaigns in Syria, and like if you're a normie, if you just like follow politics at like a surface level, and you're looking at all of this, it's like what exactly is the end game here? What exactly is Israel doing? What is the goal? What are they accomplishing by doing this? Like who are they going after? Is like wasn't this supposed to be about Hamas? Wasn't this supposed to be about getting the hostages back? Like, what is this shit about Syria? What is this shit about Lebanon? Why is Jordan and the U.S. and the U.K. coming in to protect them from drones coming in out of Iran? What is happening here? Why is this conflict escalating? What's going on with the Houthis? Like, why is this shit in the Red Sea happening? Like it it's fucking madness. And like you're completely right. Like I think a lot of people really are just waking up to the just inherent victimhood that is just endlessly expressed by Israeli leadership and in public statements. Just for all this time now, it's getting old. Like it doesn't hold the weight that it does that it used to. I feel like like to the point where like even the U.S. is like, yeah, we actually stand behind a regional, multilateral, a coordinated effort to get to a two-state solution and uh, make possible a Palestinian state. Like that would have been fucking unthinkable. So it's crazy how far we've come. Like, and you can blame nobody but Israel. It's like this was like the most coordinated attack ever because like the goal is ultimately to um, elicit an overreaction, and that's exactly what happened. Like tenfold, So like now we're actually seeing like genuine geopolitical progress in the region towards like actual fucking stabilization for once. I mean, sure, there's like been a bunch of like martyrs and bloodshed in the process, but the fact that like even the U.S. is like telling Israel like we're not gonna like we're not joining you for offensive engagements. Like it really does like say a lot. Like it really does speak to how badly like Israel has screwed all this the fuck up.
I think the only way for the rest of the world to move on from this and not just completely lose all respect for Israel is for Netanyahu to serve trial and
Yeah,
be convicted on war crimes.
yeah, big time. That
There has to be some sort of blood sacrifice. It's the only way that
really
the
though.
other countries are going to be like, yeah, how are we supposed to resolve that you did this? How
Uh
are we
huh.
supposed to work with your government ever
There
again?
has to be a scapegoat, and what better scapegoat than the prime fucking minister of Israel, whose ethno-nationalist, genocidal politics have been just have fueled this just barbarism for who knows how long
Yeah.
now. It's like if anything, like take him down. Like I'm all fucking for it, and like I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there are other like multiple world leaders that are looking like even the more like the liberal ones. Like if anything, like sure it's like it is more of an Israeli thing. It is more of like an Israeli policy thing. It does go beyond Netanyahu. It does go beyond Netanyahu and his government. But if he's the one that takes the fall and is made an example out of because of these atrocities and war crimes and shit, I'm all for it. Like if it means some accountability is
Yeah.
is made, like uh, made public and just put on display for the world to see. Like, let him be the fall guy because he fucking should be. Like, there's not enough pain in the world for him.
I think it would also be a step in the right direction to establishing an example that these international war criminals are going to be held to justice because I can't remember the last one that was. I mean,
No
Trump
kidding.
has made a
The
mockery of
Nuremberg
our justice
trials.
system,
Yeah.
and the international justice system is just less impressive.
Yeah.
I on an international level, and it's I'm trying to pay attention. I'm looking for it. I really want to see it, but they're just feckless. These institutions that are supposed to be executing the law and execution of the law, that is the real challenge because there's so much moneyed interests that will delay and relocate trial, all that kind of like gamesmanship, the legal gamesmanship that those lawyers get paid so well to
Yeah.
work the system. So my connection with you right now is pretty mediocre. It's
Sure.
going in and out. So I don't really have anything else for tonight. But one thing I'm going to make one last little comment here, and then you take it home,
Okay.
and then we can call it a stream for me. But one thing is, as of April 8th, okay, so a week ago today,
Yeah.
34,000 people, 33,091 Palestinians, so basically 33,100 Palestinians, and 1,400 Israeli were the casualties. So
Crazy.
it's not even close. 33,000 to 1,400. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a war. This is
No, of
not a
course not.
war.
No.
So I just, it seems to me like the U.S. is classic U.S. foreign policy. We're behind the rest of the world,
Yeah.
and we're just kind of catching up to what everyone else has been saying for, I guarantee, decades, man. I think this is probably a huge joke in Western and Eastern Europe of like, yeah, the Israeli government, once again, creating problems because that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to have such long-lasting repercussions. Like, um, excuse me. We're going to be finding out, like, there's going to be, I it's so hard to process because so much has happened in like the last 6 months alone. Where all the atrocities that have been committed, it's gonna take years and years, if not decades, for all to come to light, like just to be like made more public than they have been because like I don't really see much anymore on Instagram of just the suffering that a lot of
Yeah,
Palestinians are
me
going
neither.
through. It's gross. I mean, sure, from what I understand, I think there actually is like an active ceasefire. I could be wrong, but hostilities have like dwindled from what I understand. There is that pier or whatever the hell is like underway for introducing aid into Gaza a lot quicker. I think more trucks are entering, but still, the fact that like so much of this has been documented, and so much of it is out there. Like it's all going to reach like the mainstream surface eventually. At least like the most abhorrent examples, and like that'll be enough. Like, but even after that, there's more. There's so much more. Um, but it's going to take like those few examples to like start popping up in mainstream circles for people to see just how just what exactly Israel did in the region. It's like even after everything is all said and done, like it's still going to
Yeah.
be like multiple years. Like there's like not to mention like rebuilding Gaza, makes sure like stability is maintained in the region. Because even if like a Palestinian state does come into fruition, it's gonna take a lot for um, extremist groups not to flare up in order to like seek retribution against Israel, and then that might be just like another fucking excuse to repeat this whole fucking process over again, you know? Or like, what if it is like really peaceful for a while, but like there are still like extremist factions like within the Israeli government that are like we still need conflict or what have you. They might just invent something or like just like stir something up like a false flag or something like that. There's so many possibilities, but like what really is important is a multinational coordinated effort to just to maintain security and ensure that like a Palestinian state is not only successful, but the creation of it is successful, and that the people in charge are not only people that the Palestinian people want to be in charge, but that they agree with actually having authority in some form or another.
Yeah, good luck, man. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
like
if that's
it's still
feasible. We'll
it's
see.
still
It's
up in
gonna
the
be
air.
years.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time.
It's gonna be years. It's
Yeah,
gonna be years.
yeah,
All right, my man. Well, it's good to talk to you. I'm gonna go ahead and end it on my end, and
for sure.
take care. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to be back. Like I kind of missed this a little bit. I'll definitely hit you up, and we will be back next week for sure. You have a good rest of your night.
All right. See you guys.